What is up, you guys? Welcome to another video and thank you for tuning in today. So as you can see in the title, I'm going to be comparing this bad boy to this badder boy. Now in today's video, we're going to be going over some internal and external differences between a $1,000 computer and a $3,000 computer. Also, by the way, this is my 50th episode. Hot damn! I feel good. Now you guys, if you're going into this video expecting a whole bunch of small specs and numbers that absolutely don't make sense, you should probably press the back button because I don't know a lot of stuff like that. I'm just gonna see which one works better. So starting things off, we're gonna go with a $1,000 MacBook Air. Now to keep some consistent variables, both these computers are somewhat empty, so it should be pretty consistent. Now this is an early 2015 model, but I got it about 4 months ago, so it's still pretty new. I'm not sure of the exact dimensions of this computer. I'll put a link down below for dimensions because I don't feel like looking it up. As you can see, focus the camera a little bit. So as you can see, this computer is pretty thin. It's actually thicker in the back and thinner right here in the front. Yeah. Also, this computer is pretty light opposed to my other computer. A little bit heavier, not too crazy, but for mobility, this thing is definitely a go-to. Now looking at our ports and connections, we have a magnetic charger, a USB, and an auxiliary for headphones or speakers on the left side. On the right side, we have a lightning connection, another USB, and an SD card reader. And the last external piece is, you can't really see it, but this thing lights up. It's okay. So looking at some of these stats right here, this computer is running a 1.6 gigahertz Intel Core i5, 1600 megahertz DDR3 8GB memory RAM, and an Intel HD graphics 6000 1536 megabyte. Do I know what any of that stuff means? Well, the bigger the number, probably the better. When we open up the MacBook Air, we open it to a nice 13.3 inch LED backlight display. It's okay. It's definitely an older generation computer because all the new MacBooks come with a Retina screen display, which if you put them side by side, it is a crazy difference. So nothing too special about the internals of this computer, but we're gonna see if we can make it lag out and see how much it can handle. First things first, we're gonna open up Safari, Contacts, Calendar, Notes, iPhoto, iMessage, Pages, Numbers, iTunes, iMovie, Keynote, and let's go back up to Finder. So as you can see on the screen right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 windows open. I have not experienced a lag yet, but we're really not taxing the system. So let's go over to iMovie and see if we can mess this computer up. So right now I'm gonna drop some video files onto the iMovie slide to try to slow it down. If you notice, right when I dropped the video file onto the iMovie slide, it took about 5 seconds to load. Nothing too crazy. That's pretty quick for a 2-minute 49-second video, but let's keep adding more stuff. So I just dropped another 2-minute 40-second video. Still loaded pretty fast, no lags yet. So let's try to do some editing right now. I'm gonna add some cuts. Add a freeze frame. Still, the computer is running absolutely fine. When I scan the slides, there's absolutely no lag, and if I stop and press play, it instantly plays. As you can see right here, even though we're using one layer, iMovie really didn't slow down the computer at all. So we're gonna head over to a few other apps, try to stop this thing. Giving you guys a little update, the computer has about 11 windows open, still performing great for a $1,000 computer, and this computer is still trooping. It lagged just a little bit, not too crazy, but for a lower end MacBook, this thing is doing alright. Now the last performance test we're going to be doing for this computer, we're going to open up 20 tabs on Safari and see how it handles it. So now that we have 20 windows open, we're going to open up YouTube on every one. So now that we have 11 applications open and 20 tabs on Safari, we are seeing a little bit of a lag on the computer. Not too crazy, but the Safari performance has significantly decreased since all the apps are. Moving on to the MacBook Pro. Now approach from the MacBook Air, This has a lot of external features that I would like to share with you guys. Starting off with the dimensions of the computer, like I said, I don't know them. put them in a link in the description below. But just looking at the computer, it is actually thinner than the thickest part of the MacBook Air. Of course, it's not thinner than the side part, but overall, it's a very slim computer. Now, I have a really big love-hate relationship with this computer and where Apple is going with whatever the heck this is. This right here is a new thing called USB-C. It charges and it transfers data. Only problem with that, that's the only freaking connections the computer has, except the auxiliary cord for headphones or speakers or whatever the heck you need to put in that little hole. So how do I feel about it? I kind of have mixed emotions because it's cool. You can charge your computer on both sides and that's about it. But the thing I dislike about it, you need to buy a little dongle because it has no connections. You cannot put an SD card in here. You cannot put a regular USB cord in here. You cannot put a micro USB cord in here. It's literally one connection. Now, opening up this computer, looking at some of the performance stats, this is a 2016 model Mac. Looking at some of the stats, this is a 2016 model MacBook Pro with a 2.7 gigahertz Intel Core i7, a 16 gigabyte, 2133 megahertz LPDDR3 memory. Now here's where it gets better. Opposed to having just one graphics chip, this has two graphics chips that both support each other to help get that little extra performance. The graphics chips in this computer is a Radeon Pro 455 2048 megabyte with an Intel HD graphics 530 1536 megabyte graphics chip. Now, a lot of those numbers won't mean a lot to you guys. They definitely don't mean anything to me. Nope, not at all. Now, the last external feature is the little Apple sign. Well, it's not a light anymore. It's a little reflective thing right here, which personally I like a lot better. This is a space gray color and I think it works really good. And I think she's a cutie. Happy Valentine's Day. I probably should have said this earlier, but this computer is the maxed out computer you can buy in the Apple Store. Online, you can upgrade your graphics card, your processor, and your CPU, and your memory, but I think that's a little overkill. This computer kills almost any task that you need it to do. Getting a stronger computer is like comparing a Lamborghini SV to a Bugatti.
It's a drag race. Who's got the momentum? Here comes Dempsey. Dempsey's going to go 4 wide. It's going to be Dempsey.
It's just, I mean, like, if you really want it, you can. Performance-wise, I don't think it makes a big difference. So the new fancy schmancy thing with this computer is it has a touch bar. Now, what is a touch bar, you say? A touch bar is this little thing, right here. Basically, it is an adaptable function keyboard that adapts to the apps that you're using, catering to the functions, making it easier to use the app. Also with this computer, they updated the keyboard. Now it is a butterfly click, which is a lot shorter distance, and it snaps real nice. Another feature they put on here was a really oversized trackpad. Really does nothing for me, at least the size. But what's really cool about it, they put a 3D touch sensor. If you know what the iPhone 7 is, how the home button is not a home button, well, basically it's the same principle. This is not a button at all. It actually senses the pressure of your click and clicks accordingly. And last thing, for some features that really don't matter at all, the speakers on this are absolutely straight popping. These things, let me just play something for you. For this computer, we're basically going to be running the same exact test, opening 11 windows, opening 20 tabs on Safari, and seeing if there's a performance decrease in this computer. So right now what we're going to be doing, we're going to open up iMovie, slap some clips onto there, see if we can slow down this computer at all, and then head over to Safari. So as we saw when we just loaded those clips on, there's about the same delay as the MacBook Air is on the MacBook Pro. Scanning through the video file on the iMovie slide, I see no lag absolutely whatsoever, and it actually does look a little smoother than it did on the MacBook Air when I scanned through it. If I stop and want to play it, instantly plays, absolutely no lag. It's handling iMovie pretty well. So let's go over to Safari and see if we can hack this computer out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 19, 20. Now that all 20 are open, let's open YouTube on every single one. Now I'd have to look back at the footage from the computer screenshot, but it seems this computer opened all 20 windows and all 20 YouTube tabs a little faster than the MacBook Air. So that about wraps up my performance tests for the MacBook Air and the MacBook Pro. I think both of them did pretty well. The performance test wasn't too taxing on both computers. I'm sure both of them can handle a lot more. So now it's time for some pros and cons, in my opinion, on which computer is a better buy and what you're using it for. Pros and cons for the MacBook Air. Pros. It's a great computer. It's a very portable, slim, and lightweight computer. It runs really fast for the price and can handle any basic video editing tools. Now for the cons. This computer does not come with a Retina display, so you don't get that crisp image that you get from the MacBook Pro. The battery life, it's okay. I think the MacBook Pro can last a little bit longer depending on what task you're doing. And this computer cannot handle any professional editing tools such as Final Cut Pro, Adobe Pro Premiere, or Photoshop. Now moving on to the MacBook Pro. Pros. This computer can kill any professional editing tools, Photoshop, Adobe Shop, whatever you want to put on this thing. This thing can 99.9% handle every single load that you put on it. It comes with a beautiful Retina display that really brings out colors when you're editing and makes everything a lot more crisp and nice to look at. It has nice speakers, and this depends on the person, but I find a touch bar very useful. Now for the cons. For small applications and programs that require less energy from the CPU, what I've noticed, this computer actually runs a little bit slower than the MacBook Air. It's a little bit heavy and it's $3,000. So which one do you buy? It all comes down to your workload and what you're using it for. For emails, web browsing, basic editing, portability, and for price, definitely go with the MacBook Air. Especially for beginning vloggers and YouTubers, you definitely don't need a MacBook Pro because the first, I'd say 30 of my videos, if you want to go back and watch them, they're all done on the MacBook Air. And that thing killed it. It had no performance issues. Now the only thing I had an issue with was the storage capacity. It's only 128 gigabytes. Really not a lot. I had to delete a lot of stuff that I didn't want to delete just to keep editing. So if you guys do get a MacBook Air, do recommend definitely getting an external drive. It'll really help you guys out. Now if you have the money, the $3,000 MacBook Pro is the way to go. It can handle anything you throw at it. It can handle professional web editing tools. It can handle Photoshop. Really, it can really handle everything. Now, which computer is better? Well, I'm gonna leave that up to you guys. Comment what you think down below, which computer is better. And if you have one of these computers, well, let me know in the comment section below. Other than that, you guys, I really hope you enjoyed the video today. If you wanna really support my channel, please drop a like. That thumbs up really helps. As always, you guys, thank you so much for watching. See you next time.